Another season of high school sports kicks off tonight on Fred TV and Blue Raiders TV. Hello again, everybody. I'm Evan Massoud. Thanks for tuning in to our high school sports coverage as it kicks off tonight with football. Durfee making the trip across the river to Somerset-Berkley Regional to play the Blue Raiders in what's become a tradition on opening day. It's a beautiful night. The players are amped up, and we should be in for a good game. Durfee's going to have their hands full. Somerset comes in the reigning league champs of the South Coast League. They were 7-3 a year ago. Durfee just 2-8. However, they did have that big win on Thanksgiving. The Durfee team this year looking a little different with the youth movement. Underclassmen making the story here on varsity. We have freshmen and sophomores aplenty up and down the lineup. But there are some returners, just like Concepcion and Roque, who will be in the backfield. Veterans who should get it done with the running game, so be on the lookout for that for the Hilltoppers. Somerset's running game is always tough. They pound the ball any chance they get, so the Hilltoppers' defense is going to really be tested here on opening day. I had a chance to speak with Coach Taylor Brown during the week in preparation for opening night, and he dove into what to expect from the 2018 Hilltoppers. Here's Coach.
As far as individuals who make up our team, we do have guys who have not had much experience, or if any at all, and guys who've had 3 years experience. So we have that in between class that we don't have really much participation in, being our junior class. So we have to really pull from the younger guys and have them step up this year. So, we're just going to go about it day by day and teach technique, teach fundamentals, and teach the game to the kids, and hopefully they can grasp it and become better every game throughout the year.
The sun is back out. It's about 70 degrees, and kickoff is just around the corner, so don't change that channel. We kick off the high school sports season with football next on Fred TV. Okay, folks, we made our way up top to the top of the press box here for the call of the game. It's really just a great night for football. About 65 degrees. Sun is dipping, and we have the captains at midfield ready for the coin toss for the Hilltoppers. 4 captains. Number 2, Jan Rosa. Number 3, Lucas Roque. Number 65, Jude Thomas. And number 67, Zachary Cardelli. And for the Somerset-Berkley Blue Raiders, number 8, Benjamin McMahon. Number 32, Michael Gagliardi. And number 66, Sadi Sadi. Hilltoppers led by head coach Taylor Brown once again. And the same can be said for the Blue Raiders, led by their head coach, Nick Freitas. Coin was just tossed. Somerset has won it, and they will defer. So again, opening night football here. We were here 2 years ago, so last year Durfee hosted opening night, and now Somerset getting to host again. Hilltoppers are going to kick off from right to left in this great campus here across the way at Somerset, and kind of going to give you a glimpse into the future, really, with the school in the background. It's kind of how it's going to be with the new Durfee, because Mac Aldridge Field is staying where it is, but the new Durfee High School, when it is built and opened, we will have the school as kind of the background in the left side of the field towards where the tennis courts used to be, because that's where it's going to be, the Fieldhouse lot. And so where you see parking lot, that Fieldhouse lot at Durfee would be new building, and it'd be right next to where the Fieldhouse actually is. So this is going to be kind of the future backdrop that we'll see in Fall River just a couple years. This is really great spot. Somerset did a nice job with their high school. We've been inside for a couple games for basketball when Durfee's come over here. And again, we were here 2 years ago for football opening night. So great to be back, and just take a moment to thank Joe Francis, the athletic director from Somerset, for once again giving us a great spot to film from, and always amiable and great to work with. So we do appreciate that. We're going to pause for the national anthem, and we'll be back with kickoff. Great job by the Somerset-Berkley marching band on the national anthem. Teams will huddle up one last time here before hitting the field. And this rivalry has become really good. I mean, it's always been good, but you know, it's never going to be Durfee-New Bedford as a rivalry. But I mean, Somerset, I venture to say that the Durfee-Somerset rivalry is bigger than the Brockton-Durfee rivalry, just because of the proximity of each school. I mean, granted, this is a non-league game, so it won't have any effect on the conferences. Durfee in the Big Three, Division II, and for Somerset, Division 5, the South Coast League, again, reigning champs of that league. So two totally different conferences and divisions. However, a very solid rivalry here. So both teams always want to beat the other. There's no love lost, that's for sure. So here in 2018, we start off with nothing records. Last year, Somerset at 7-3, Durfee at 2-8. Brendan Medeiros will kick off for Somerset from the 40, left to right. That's a good kickoff in the air the whole time, and it drops. Picked up and taken to about the 20.
Tackled by a host of Somerset-Berkley.
Looked like Eli Concepcion, number 28.
First down, Durfee. First and 10 at their 20.
The Hilltoppers get it back to their 20-yard line. That's where they will start on offense. I mean, again, you know, we mentioned in the open kind of the youth movement here. There are a bevy of freshmen and sophomores on this team. They outnumber the upperclassmen. So a young team is going to be some growing pains, as there always is at the start of a season. But I would say with this season, you could probably almost expect that just because of how young this team is. Trying to roll out and stopped for negative yardage. And that is Concepcion. Could not make the cut in. Nice job by Robert Shaker on the tackle. Michael Gagliardi in there as well.
Second and 11.
So loss of 2, going to make it 2nd and 12 for the Hilltoppers. Again, Somerset lining up similar look. Durfee with a different play call here. They're going to toss it out. Ditt gets it to Lucas Roque, and Roque is stopped.
Tackle by number 88.
Looks like he gained 1 yard on that carry, so he got one back, but still going to be a tough play here. 3rd and 11. Alvin Ditt, number 1, he is the QB. A senior. Ditt giving the play to the huddle. It's going to be 3rd and 11 here in the first possession for the Hilltoppers. Ditt hands it off. Roque trying to turn. Cuts in, and it's tackled just shy of the 25-yard line. So it's about a 5-yard pickup, but will be well short of the line to gain. The Hilltoppers will have to punt the ball.
Gain of about 3, 4th and 6.
5-yard gain for the Hilltoppers. Got him to the 24. Needed to get to the 30. So the Hilltoppers will have to kick it away. Brandon Medeiros ready to catch. He's at the 40 of Somerset. Good snap. And a good punt. And it's going to bounce and roll, and Jan Rosa will deaden the ball at the 41, 42-yard line. There's a good punt there from Jason Hall, a freshman. Using the legs here.
Opening drive for the Somerset-Berkley Raiders.
Raiders are going to have great field position inside their 40-yard line. just about at midfield. One of the big news for Somerset is that they're without Chase Stafford. He graduated last year. Chase, what a great player he was for Somerset-Berkley over the last 4 years. A fake there. They do get the stop. The Hilltopper D with a stop behind the line of scrimmage. So both defenses with good first snaps. And you know, the Hilltoppers defense is what won them the Thanksgiving Day game. A game that we thought would be kind of an offensive battle, was anything but. And that Durfee defense is really what made the difference. We'll see how the defense is this year. That was a good stop on first down. Ended up being just maybe a little bit less than a yard. That is offsides on the defense. Play will continue. Tackled across midfield. Gagliardi tackled across the 50 at the visitors. 49, but I believe the flag was on Durfee. I think it was number 1 there, Alvin Ditt, who's playing on both sides of the ball. That was a good carry, though, for Somerset. And it looks like they're going to decline the penalty.
Somerset-Berkley declines the penalty.
And Somerset did decline the penalty. And it's going to be 3rd and 2. At the, just across the 50, we'll say the 49.5 of Durfee. 3rd and 2, everybody in motion. They hand it off to Medeiros. Flags down, play is halted, and it should be a false start on the offense. See some of the Hilltoppers clapping. Indeed it is, so that'll back up the Blue Raiders 5 yards. Somerset with a little bit of a different look in terms of the offensive formation. Last year and the year before, I mean, it was literally 3 in the back and just snap it to whomever and hand it off. Slightly different here, but it's still running the ball. They love to run the ball here in Somerset. 3rd and 7. That is Gagliardi. And they stop him shy of the 50. In Somerset territory. It's a 3-yard gain, 4 yards shy of the first. Hilltopper defense with a good stop there on 3rd down. Somerset does not look like they're going to kick it. And they're going for it. 4th and 4 from their own 48-yard line. Big play here to start the game. Somerset looking for a 4th down conversion. They need 4 yards. Medeiros gets the handoff. He has plenty of room on the far side. Getting chased down, and he scampers across. But was he out of bounds? The Hilltoppers, he is short. Durfee makes a stop. They forced Medeiros to the outside, and he couldn't cut back in. He's 1.5 yards short. A huge stop for the Hilltoppers. And really what told the story was that entire Durfee sideline is jumping for joy like they just won the Super Bowl. But that is a big stop here on Somerset's home turf. So Durfee takes over at the 49. Their own 49, so right at midfield. The gamble did not pay off for Nick Freitas and the Blue Raiders. Good play call, though. Everybody was kind of on this side, so, you know, Medeiros rolling out to that far side. I like the idea, just Durfee a little too quick to the ball. Lucas Roque with a good run, and he could be right at that line to gain.
Tackle by number 9, Robert Schaefer.
Let's see where they spot it. Going to be about 1 yard short, so a 9-yard carry for Lucas Roque.
Gain of about 9 yards, 2nd and 1. On the Somerset-Berkley 40.
Lucas is very tough to tackle. He's one of those running backs that can sneak through a hole and take off in the blink of an eye if you give him any inch. So really look to him to be a difference maker again with the running game for the Hilltoppers this year, especially with Alvin Ditt, first-year QB. And, wow, big stop by Benjamin McMahon. A 6-yard loss, stopped in the backfield. Hilltoppers retreat. Ends up actually being 4 yards. Forward progress, so 4-yard loss, 3rd and 5. We'll see if the Hilltoppers continue with the running game. Neither side has elected to go to the air yet here in the opening 6 minutes of play. Handed off to Roque, and Roque collapses across the 45. He's going to be short by maybe 2 yards.
Number 54 on the play.
Ball at the 44. They needed to get to the 41. It's a 3-yard differential there. And a bunch of Hilltoppers swapping out. It appears that Durfee will be punting the ball. We'll see what they do. Already punted once. And indeed, they're going to punt the ball. Medeiros heading back to catch it. No. Instead, it looks like, is that McMahon? McMahon going back to catch the punt. High snap, but another good punt there. That's going to drop and roll across the 10, down to the 8. What a great kick there from Hall. The freshman with 2 good punts, burying the Blue Raiders back deep inside the 10. So early on, both teams staying with the running game. Both teams' defenses getting good stops when needed. Now the Blue Raiders will go on their second offensive series. Again, starting from their, it appears their 8-yard line. First and 10. QB keeper got tripped up. Jake Meehan, a senior, 6'1", tall kid. So is McMahon, by the way. We were just mentioning McMahon, 6'2", 220. 4-yard carry for the Blue Raiders QB. 2nd and 6. We'll see what Meehan does this time. They send the runner in motion. Drops the ball, picks it back up, and it's tackled for a loss. There's also a flag. We'll see what the flag is on the play. It was in the backfield. I believe it's on Somerset because the official is over at Durfee's side explaining the call. Probably trying to see what Coach Brown wants to do. Still waiting for the official call here. Hit below the knees there, so an illegal block. It's going to be half the distance, I believe. So down inside the 5.
Second down.
So it's going to be second down at the 5-yard line. Second and we'll say 14, a long second down here. Quick handoff. Oh, they're going to throw it. No, they do fake it. And it's a run up the middle. Very short gain, if any. Maybe a couple yards. Medeiros with the carry.
Gain of about a yard.
And bring up 3rd and 13. It was a good fake by Meehan because he certainly sold it to me. I thought they were going to go to the air for the first time. But no dice. They stay on the ground.
Timeout.
Somerset with a quick timeout as Meehan left the huddle. Heading back with the play call on 3rd and long. 3rd and 13 from the 6-yard line. Seeing a little bit of separation here. Getting some wide receivers, maybe going to have someone run a route. It looks like that's McMahon. Definitely overmatched in terms of height. Meehan looking this direction. Going to throw on the run. Tackled and taken down just inside the 10-yard line for the stop on 3rd down. Hilltopper's defense was more than ready for that pass, which was complete, by the way, to Medeiros, but 2 guys on him the minute he tucked that ball. So 4th and 8.
Back to receive for Durfee, Devon Holly.
Blue Raiders going to punt, it appears, for the first time. Long snap from the edge of the end zone. A little hook kick. Going to land at the 40. That's a great kick. Wow. Going to land at the 49. That's almost half the field in the air. That's a great punt for the Blue Raiders.
Minute 36 to go in the first quarter.
And that was Medeiros doing the punting. So we've said his name quite a bit tonight. He's been pretty busy out on the field. And be staying in on defense as well. So special teams, offense, defense, kid does it all. Durfee's going to start on the Blue Raiders side of the field at the 49, just across midfield. About 96 seconds to play in the first quarter. Both teams have possessed the ball twice, and both defenses looking good early. Really impressed by Durfee's defense here in the first quarter. It'll be a big boost if the offense can convert a first down here. Oh, Rokas just stood up by McMahon right at the line of scrimmage.
Big crack, no yards, game.
Gonna bring up 2nd and 10. And the clock will continue to roll here in the first quarter.
Second down and 10.
Sending out Jan Rosa to the far side. And a whistle here. Going to have a timeout, I believe, for Somerset. Oh, no, the Hilltoppers calling timeout.
Durfee Hilltoppers.
Here we go, lined up 2nd and 10 after no gain on first down. Another handoff, and they fake it. Ditt trying to find some room, gets pushed outside. Still on his feet, tackled down. Made it to the 47, maybe the 46, no, about the 47. So just a 2-yard gain there once he was able to get across the line. And that'll bring up 3rd and 8. Another long 3rd down. Concepcion got a nice block, has some room on his feet. First down. Eli Concepcion across the 35. That'll move the chains. Hilltoppers get their first down of the season. And he got a great block. Credit Roque there. Roque was kind of leading him.
At the Somerset-Berkley 34.
That brings us to the end of the first quarter here at Somerset-Berkley Regional. No score on opening night. The Hilltoppers just picked up their first down on their third offensive series and are down just shy of the 30. Trying to move down the field here and grab an early lead.
I'm going to switch sides and march the other way.
As the team switch sides, we'll make some adjustments here. So Durfee will be driving from left to right when we come back to the action, and makes it a little more fun for the Hilltopper fans. They're off to the right of the camera. That's the visitors' spot, the cheering spot. So, and there's actually, I mean, there's a big crowd here tonight. We're pretty much almost sold out. These stands are jam-packed between Durfee and Somerset fans, which is always great to see. So here we go. Hilltoppers back out on the field. Blue Raiders back out on the field. Durfee with a 1st and 10 from the 34. Into Concepcion again. Kind of plows up the middle there. Good for about 3 yards.
Durfee with a gain of about 2.
Bring up 2nd and 7 from the 31, just inside the 31.
66. Side.
So a 3-yard pickup, and the Hilltoppers facing 2nd and 7. Well, trying to cut back in, and that did not work well for the Hilltoppers. Javon Holly, a freshman, just got a taste of varsity action and a taste of the turf in the backfield.
Big play by those both gentlemen. Loss of about 5, 3rd and 12.
Backs Durfee up to the 35. They were at the 31, so they lost 4. Bring 3rd and 12. I like the idea. They sent Holly in motion from the far side, maybe trying to take some of the pressure off of Roque and Concepcion and fool the defense, but there was no fooling as now he's in motion the other way. Dick gonna throw it, plug in the middle in triple coverage, and amazingly they almost connected there for the catch.
Incomplete. 4th and 12.
That was intended for Joe Dion Medina. And that's the first pass for the Hilltoppers, and it was not a bad one at all. Again, into triple coverage, you're living dangerously. But Medina is pretty tall, and the throw was on the money. They're going to bring up 4th and 12. Hilltoppers have punted twice, and it looks like they will do it again as we see Jason Hall taking a step back, ready for the long snap. Kind of an interesting formation, though, with 2 wide receivers left and right side. They do get the punt off, though. Another good one as it's going to drop, and they got to deaden it before the end zone. They keep it in play. What a dive on the backside there to deaden the ball inside the 5-yard line. Special teams looking good early on for the Hilltoppers. That's a hustle play right there to keep that ball out of the end zone and bury the Blue Raiders back deep in their own territory. So Durfee's third series, they come up empty. But again, special teams, very impressed with the punting game from Jason Hall. Again, a freshman running back using his legs in a different way tonight. So from the 2-yard line, 1st and 10, flag is thrown. Looks like it'll be offsides, but Meehan running, tripped up. Good for a first down. Brought it out to the 15-yard line or thereabouts. And I would imagine if this penalty is on the defense, which I suspect it was, that'll be declined after that great run from Meehan.
We have flags on the penalty on the field.
And it was on the defense. It'll be a first down, so Meehan gets SB out of the hole. He was downed at the 14, so a 12-yard run for him before he was tripped up. 1st and 10. And a big tackle there after a short gain.
Second and 6.
Durfee's sideline getting loud on defense, trying to amp up their crowd. 2nd and 6 after, actually, 2nd and 7 really, only a 3-yard carry. Looking at the chains, so. Looks like the QB faked it and took it himself. However, not far on the carry, maybe just a yard, maybe a yard and a half. No, just the one. So it's going to bring up 3rd and a long 5.
3rd down and 5.
3rd and a long 5 for Somerset.
Come on, Somerset-Berkley. We need a first down. Let's go, fans.
And they're going to tackle him for a loss of 4 in the backfield. Hilltoppers with another big stop on defense.
Main guy in there was Jan Rosa.
A loss of 3 yards. Bring up 4th and 8.
4th and 8.
And it looks like Medeiros is going to punt. Hilltoppers calling a timeout at the advice of the assistant coaches up here on the roof next to us, noticing that everybody on the near side for Somerset was open. Would have been an easy conversion. Nobody was ready on defense for the Hilltoppers. So calling timeout. It's a full team timeout as they huddle up. 6:51 to play in the first half. Nothing still. Eli Concepcion at the emblem at midfield, ready to receive the kick here from Medeiros. Ooh, bit of a high snap. Good running start, though, on the kick. Little lobber. Concepcion catches it. That should be a penalty. He called a fair catch. Not supposed to touch him, but there's no flags thrown. No, for sure in the NFL that would have been a flag. You cannot make contact after the fair catch. Of course, we're in Somerset. And the Hilltopper fans letting the officials hear it, as that might have been just a little bit of a home call. Durfee starting on Somerset's side of the field for the second time, second straight series rather. This is the best field position the Hilltoppers have had from Somerset's 47, 1st and 10. Handoff to Concepcion, who got tripped up. But it was a good carry nonetheless, about 6 yards. So 2nd and 4 next. Was tackled at the 41. See, we're used to seeing the Hilltoppers with the black jerseys at home, all black, but the white looks pretty sharp at night, especially. Easier for the numbers, easier to read them too. Look at the spin moves from Lucas Roque, diving across the 35 for the first down.
First down, Durfee Hilltoppers. Somerset-Berkley 32, 1st and 10.
Roque made it all the way to the 32-yard line on that dash. It was nearly a 10-yard pickup. And a fresh set of downs for the Hilltoppers. 1st and 10 from the Somerset 32. Ditt calling audibles. Oh, that's a false start.
Flag on the play.
It was almost simultaneous, but the Hilltoppers jumped it at the line just a split second before the defense. You're watching Ditt too. You know, he kind of had the hard count, the hard snap that you got to wait for it, and yeah, false start right there. That's a tough one, especially after the great run that Roque just had. They have to make up 5 yards. 1st and 15. Backed up to the 37. Tossing it out to Concepcion. Has a bit of a hole. Oh, he is stood up by the defense. Thought he had some room, but then all of a sudden, nowhere to go. Looked like Joseph Frank was in on that tackle.
Somerset-Berkley Raiders, 2nd and 13.
As well as Bryce Garrettson. Two-yard run there. So 2nd and 13 after the short gain. Send the man in motion. Roque up the middle. Stood up, diving across the 25. What a dash for him as well.
Number 9, Robert Shaker.
Robert Shaker on the tackle. Hilltoppers will have 3rd and short.
About 3rd and 2. On the Somerset-Berkley 25.
They sent Concepcion on the run there. Kind of doing an end around Lucas Roque, as if they were going to toss it out to him at full speed ahead, and then Roque just took it right up the gut for a big carry once again. That was about 10 yards, so just a 3-yard need for a first down. Roque trying to cut in, able to cut in. Oh, the ball is loose. Somerset has it. Unbelievable. Roque had the room too. He had the first, and it was punched out. The ball went flying about 7 yards, and it was recovered by, it appeared, number 21, Matthew Hinvez. Defense has been the story so far in this one. 3:31 to play, still no score in this first half. And the Somerset-Berkley defense just came up big because the Hilltoppers looked like they were finally getting a bit of a rhythm on offense. That's a killer right there for Durfee. Now you got to just hope to keep Somerset off the board. And a timeout is called by Coach Freitas. From the Somerset 35, Blue Raiders ready to go 1st and 10 after the fumble recovery. A forced fumble and recovery.
Jake
Meehan on the carry. Tackled at the 40-yard line. 5-yard carry. Going to be 2nd and 5. Second and 5, and they hand it off to McMahon.
Ben McMahon with the carry.
Who's going to be 3 yards short of the first, a 2-yard carry there. Have 3rd and 3, needing to get to the 45 for a first down. We roll up on 2.5 minutes to play in this first half. A scoreless first half. And a timeout, full team timeout called by the Hilltoppers. And going to be stopped at 2:23, and I say a scoreless first half. Hilltoppers would like to keep it that way, again, after the forced fumble of Roque, who had the first down. That's what's such a killer about it, because he really had to fight to make that turn in for those 3 yards, and then he lost it as the ball was punched out. And there was just nobody home except for the lone Blue Raider, who was charging that direction already, so he already had the speed in his favor. It's good, clean recovery as he dove on the ball. Here we go, 3rd and 3. We saw Coach Freitas go for it on 4th down at midfield earlier in the ball game. So if it came down to that and they're anywhere within this vicinity of the line to gain, one would imagine that he may go for it, considering time would be on his side as well.
Right,
so 3rd and 3, though. We got to play this one first. 3rd and 3. Oh, that's almost offsides, and it should have been a false start. He's going to be stopped short of the line to gain, but certainly looked like there was movement at the line of scrimmage on the Blue Raiders side. No flags thrown. It's going to be 4th and a yard, so pretty much a given here that Somerset would end up going for it. See Meehan talking to the coaches right now, getting the play call. Under 2 minutes to play in the first half. You know, Somerset is smart, too. I mean, you don't want to, you know, it's a little different than the NFL. Sometimes, you know, the discipline is, obviously, these are not professional players. They're high schoolers, but could try to bait the Hilltoppers off sides, too, and gain, you know, the penalty that way. But they're going to run it. Meehan
Jake Meehan with the first down.
Is across the line to gain with under 90 seconds. 3-yard carry for the first down, and if memory serves right, I believe that's Somerset's first down of the ball game. Clock is rolling, 1:22. 1st and 10 from the Somerset 47. They send the man in motion, almost fumbled the ball there. That is Medeiros and they're going to take him down. Nice job there by Jason Hall on the tackle. Our running back turned punter, now turned tackle, playing on every side of the ball as well. The freshman having a game on opening night. Tackle was made, though, out of bounds, so that's a benefit for Somerset. It stops the clock with 72 seconds to play in the half. Right at midfield here, the 49 of Somerset. 2nd and 8 coming up. A lot of room on that far side if they decide to throw it. Just a one-on-one battle. Oh, almost dribbled there from me, and he gets away. Now going to throw on the run, and he's wide open for the connection. What did I just say? Nobody on that far side, and the completed catch across the 40 for the Hilltoppers.
Somerset-Berkley Blue Raiders. Big play.
First completion for either side. No huddle for Somerset. 45 seconds to play. Hilltoppers got to be ready for the sneak pass. Again, now this side, near side. Nobody on this side of the field, just a one-on-one battle. Going to hand it off, it appears. No, Meehan going to keep it, and he plugs the gap only for about a yard or two. We're going to have a timeout to stop the clock.
We're going to have a timeout.
30 seconds to play in the first half, and a timeout here. Full team timeout for the Blue Raiders.
Balls on the Durfee Hilltop at 38.
There was a gain of 1 to bring up 2nd and 9 from Durfee's 38-yard line out of the timeout here. Crowd's starting to get into it a little bit more here in this the latter part of the first half. That catch really got them going because everything's been on the ground really so far, with the exception of the one incompletion for Somerset and the one incompletion for the Hilltoppers.
Come on, cheerleaders, get us going.
Hilltoppers on the field, ready to go. Somerset using every second of the timeout. That was a long time, long timeout, I'll tell you.
Our offense. Let's go louder.
Second and 9, Hilltoppers, Blue Raiders. Defense for the Hilltoppers have a tall task. Blue Raiders moving the chains on this drive after the forced fumble. Meehan rolling out. Has some room as he makes the corner, pushed out of bounds into the players on the sidelines, stopping the clock at 22 seconds. Short gain, though. All that end around, he backtracked almost 10 yards. So only a gain of 2, despite all that running. Those have to be frustrating carries because it feels like you've gone a mile to only get 2 yards out of it. But again, the benefit is it stops the clock for Somerset. 3rd and 7 for the Blue Raiders. 22 seconds to play in the first half. Everybody's set. Here we go, 3rd and 8. They hand it off, fake the end around. That's to McMahon, and he is stopped dead in his tracks. 8 seconds. 5 seconds to play in the half. 2 seconds to play in the half. And a timeout. Coach Freitas was watching the clock. They're going to go for one last play here in the second half.
Unofficial 2 seconds to go the first half.
And Coach Freitas was watching the clock and ready to call timeout, and that's why no one was rushing. He had a plan, and that was to give the offense now one last play here to try to score before the half. But I can tell you right now, regardless of what happens in these 2 seconds, to say that we've been scoreless for basically 2 quarters of play here If anybody would have told me that earlier today, I would have not believed them. I certainly would have expected to see some points on the board after the first quarter, never mind here with 2 seconds to play in the first half. So both defenses have been really good to this point. And I would say Somerset's offense, just given experience and some of the players they have, that they're a little more potent than Durfee. So a big credit to the Durfee defense in this first half. They're playing their rear ends off right now. And now a timeout by the Hilltoppers. Wanted to see what Somerset would come out with. And they still had a couple to burn, so why not? Make him think about it a little bit. Really been a good first half, though, overall. Good football. Good hard-nosed football. I mean, I like defensive games. It's fun to score points, but the Thanksgiving game last year, our season finale, back at home, the win for Durfee against New Bedford, that was one of the most exciting games just because it's a nail-biter. You know, blowouts are always fun when you're on one side of them, but, I mean, even then, you know, you go up 28-0 after the first half. Second half is just kind of a pushover. A defensive battle that's neck and neck, I mean, that's what you got to like. It keeps you interested. Every play matters so much more. Kind of like a pitcher's duel in baseball. I mean, sure, everybody wants to see home runs and a bunch of hits and stuff, but I'll tell you, I'd take a 1-0 game that lasts only 2 hours and 20 minutes any day of the week. Here we go, 4th down and 6. Last play of the first half. Somerset-Berkley spreading out the receivers, going to test Durfee's secondary, it appears, for the first time tonight. Meehan rolling out, going to airmail it. This is going to be well short and picked off by the Hilltoppers. Going to get up. Alvin Ditt intercepted it and fell on it. Probably should have picked it up and run with it. Instead, he just dropped the ball. It was a live ball, so maybe a mental break. Nonetheless, Hilltoppers return the favor with their own turnover forced. So they turned the ball over once. Somerset turned the ball over once in the half. You see the score there. It is 0-0 after one half of play here at Somerset-Berkley. And really, again, just so impressed by the defenses because I really would have never expected to see a 0-0 score after the first half. I would have expected at least a touchdown from both sides, if not more. These games typically are pretty offensive heavy, so credit to both defenses. It's been a great first half. We're going to have the second half next on Fred TV, so stick around. Meantime, during halftime, I had the chance to head down to the Borden Light Marina about a week and a half ago for the Offshore Powerboat Association's Grand Prix, Fall River Grand Prix, the 4th annual, which was held on the Taunton River. Those speedboats are incredible feats of engineering. I got an up-close and personal look. So take a look at that feature, and we'll be back with the third quarter right after that. Gentlemen, start your engines. The Borden Light Marina was the site of the 4th annual Fall River Grand Prix as the Offshore Powerboat Association roared up the Taunton River for competition. Spectators had a chance to hear and feel the power these boats can make. These boats are incredible feats of engineering, and they can reach top speeds of nearly 200 miles per hour. All that's because of the incredible horsepower under the hood. These boats will make in excess of 3,000 horsepower, and they weigh just over 10,000 pounds. That's double the power in a monster truck with the same weight. But whether it's a powerboat, a monster truck, or even a sprint car, the only way to harness that power is through many safety enhancements. While there's always a risk with extreme sports, these boats are incredibly safe. The safety director for the Miss Geico team, David DiPetrillo, explains that each team can customize their design, so long as they adhere to OPA protocol.
We have specialized custom windshields that are polycarbonate 1.25 inches thick. We built almost a roll canopy out of the Kevlar and the carbon fiber around them. And what that allows us to do is allows us to protect them while they're in the canopy in the event that we have a rollover crash or some other more dramatic blowover where the exterior part of the boat will actually come apart, but they'll still be safe within the canopy.
All this and more allows the drivers to compete at the highest possible level, pushing the limits of their machines with every race. The footage you're seeing is courtesy of the Miss Geico race team. Their throttleman, Steve Curtis, says the adrenaline rush of powerboat racing is like nothing else in the world.
Well, there's not many sports where you can have 4,000 horsepower pushing along the water over 200 miles an hour. So, to get that rush, is a great sensation. And, nowadays Miss Geico team's, the biggest team in the world, and to be associated with the Miss Geico team and racing that boat is a fantastic experience.
Steve has had a very successful career spanning over 30 years. In fact, he was the youngest ever Class 1 world champion at just 21 years old. OPA holds races all over the East Coast, with a few central U.S. competitions mixed in, such as in Michigan and Missouri. But Steve says he really likes this Fall River course. A big reason why is that the Taunton River is relatively calm.
Well, it's a great course. We go under the bridge, which is anytime you put a great big lump of concrete up there, it's pretty exciting. And we got the lighthouse, so it's a real nice course, about 4.5 mile course, I believe. Reasonably flat water because we're protected, it's a river.
The drivers love the fans, and the teams are always accessible the day before the races. Brad Ellsworth of Barrington has come to this event every year, and I can say that Brad is a true fan. He even taught me a few things about the sport.
Some of the classes are changing in the upcoming season. The unlimited class is going to step down to 1,100 horsepower per engine, and that class is going to be drastically affected. So the one class down from that, they're going to be the real competitive class right now, from what I see. But I like to see that this is really improving, that everybody is coming. I think they had 10,000 people here last year, and I'd like to see it expand even more. If we could get it something like it happens down in Florida, that would be really great. It'd be good for the city too.
The Miss Geico race team took home the hardware in the extreme class and continues to hold the lead in the national points standings. Only 2 events remain for 2018, Lake Hopatcon in New Jersey later this month, and the OPA World Championships in Englewood, Florida in November that Brad alluded to. For more information on the Offshore Powerboat Association, visit their website at oparacing.org. At the Borden Light Marina, reporting for Fred TV Sports, I'm Evan Massoud. Okay, folks, we're back here at Somerset-Berkley Regional for opening night football. Evan Massoud with you on Fred TV and Blue Raiders TV. Hope you enjoyed the speedboats pack there from Borden Light Marina. Really, just a lot of fun. And again, big shout out to and thank you to Michael Lund from the Borden Light Marina, as well as the crew from the Miss Geico race team. They were just fantastic. It truly meant what I said when I say the drivers, the teams, they are accessible. They love the fans. Think about it. They're all weekend sitting around waiting for a couple races. They have nothing else to do. So it was just such a great time. Really excited that we got to go down there again and cover this. And so the 4th annual Grand Prix is in the books. And it would appear that given how much the drivers like the Taunton River, that we may have a 5th next summer. So be on the lookout for that next year in summer 2019. Durfee kicked off to Somerset after Durfee received the opening kickoff to start the game. Here to begin the second half, Somerset with great field position. The kickoff was not that great, probably Durfee's weakest kick of the night. The punting game has been outstanding thanks to freshman Jason Hall, but that kickoff a little bit on the weaker side. Running into a bit of a wall there, McMahon put down the shoulders and basically ran into a hurdle. That's what we call a defenseman. But no score here on opening night, certainly. Not the first half that I was expecting, and I'm sure not the first half that many fans here, Durfee or Somerset, were expecting. The defenses have just been outstanding to this point. Can't say enough. And again, take nothing away from Durfee in terms of their offensive abilities, but Somerset definitely would have the say, more experienced offense. So, you know, the Durfee defense has just been outstanding. This reminds me of Thanksgiving Day last year so much, the way that the Hilltoppers are playing tonight. Been quick to the ball and been making very few mistakes, and that's, you know, a big key when you're playing defense. I mean, granted, too, Somerset's not necessarily throwing anything at the Hilltoppers that's too tricky. I mean, for the most part, it's the same formation every time, but when you have 3 or 4 guys back there who can handle the ball, I mean, it's kind of a guessing game. You got to figure out who's getting it. McMahon with another carry just across the 50, and that's going to be a 5-yard carry, bringing up 3rd and 4.
About 3rd and 4.
Should mention that Diamond Regional is back playing home games at the Harrington Athletic Field. Their stadium got a bit of a makeover within the last year, a new field, and I was on it earlier today, and I can tell you it's real grass, which I just think is fantastic. And it was like walking on a carpet. By far, probably the nicest grass field I've ever walked on at the high school level. There is a flag on the far side, but the completion is good. Gagliardi coming down with it. We'll be interested to see what the flag is. Maybe on Somerset. Looks like it is on Somerset. Hilltoppers clapping. Official pointing that direction. This is a first down that's going to be negated thanks to a block in the back by the Blue Raiders. How about that? That's a big call. Maybe that makes up for the fair catch. That's a personal foul and a huge penalty against the Blue Raiders. Takes away a first down. So it's going to be third and 19 instead of what really should be a first down and 10 from the 44. Now look for Somerset to pass here for sure. Meehan rolling backwards, has some pressure, rolling to the sidelines, running out of room, going to throw on the run. It's picked off! Jaden Lewis walked right into it, picks it off at the 47. Second interception of the night for the Hilltoppers. This one huge. You hear our coaching staff to the right of us again voicing their excitement. The underclassmen getting it done for the Hilltoppers here, and many of them their first varsity game in high school or their first high school game in general. Jaden Lewis, a freshman, with the pick. You gotta love it. Toppers back on offense, 1st and 10 from the Somerset 47. Had some nice stops on defense. Oh, now look at that. Somerset with another good stop. That was Medeiros in on that tackle.
Brandon Medeiros and the rest of the Somerset-Berkley Raiders. Patrick Kennedy.
Coach Freitas steamed on the sideline, having a conversation with the official at the bottom of your screen. He was pointing and jumping and yelling furiously for 5 seconds after that play. Not a happy camper. It's a loss of 4 yards for the Hilltoppers. 2nd and 14. Roque gets the handoff. Gets across the 45 to the 44, and now a flag late.
Berkeley Blue Raiders in on the tackle, number 44, Bryce Garrettson. Penalty on the play. Personal foul.
Personal foul on the Blue Raiders. Thought it was on the Hilltoppers, to be honest with you.
15-yard penalty.
Another 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down for the Hilltoppers.
Ball on the Somerset-Berkley 29, first and 10.
I really thought that was on Durfee. We saw a couple bodies come in late. There's some late pushing and shoving after the whistle there to make the tackle, and I thought maybe it might have been a hit after the whistle on the Hilltoppers, but instead goes in their favor. First and 10 inside the 30 after the 15-yard penalty. Ditt hands it off to Concepcion. Spin move, still on his feet, gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. So no gain.
Number 42, Joseph Frank on the tackle. Gain of nothing.
So second and 10. 3 minutes into the third quarter, still no score. Hilltoppers haven't been this close since really, I think since Lucas Roque fumbled back in the second quarter. Has a seam, has some room, still on his feet, down inside the 20 towards the 15 for a first down. Hilltoppers seem to be picking up more yards when they go right up the middle there, right through the pile, than when they roll outside. Seems like whenever they do make it to the outside, there's usually 3 Blue Raiders waiting there, and that seems to be when they've lost yards. But when they're just taking the ball and going right up the middle, and right up that lane, they seem to be converting and picking up more yardage. Ooh, stopped right at the knees. That's a tough hit, Roque.
There's a big hit. Looks like number 29, Brandon Medeiros.
So it appears a 1 yard gain there on that run before Roque was knocked down. So second and 9 from the 25. Second and 9 from the 15 rather. From the 15. Hilltoppers in the red zone. And that did not pan out either. Again, rolling outside, trying to cut back in, has not worked for Durfee. And Garrettson with a tackle for Somerset-Berkley, and that's a loss of yards for the Hilltoppers.
Loss of about 2. Third and 11.
So third and 11, Durfee still in the red zone. Actually, if memory serves right, first trip to the red zone for either side, and it's coming here in the third quarter. This is a big one here. I mean, I would venture to say this is 4-down territory at this point in the game, and given that you're in the red zone, not going to punt. Oh, who knows? Coach Brown may elect to try a field goal. Stranger things have happened. Roque going to cut in, has a little bit of room, still on his feet as he gets tackled inside the 15, probably about a 5 or 6 yard carry. Shaker with the tackle. It's at the, say, 12.5 yard line. So bring up about 4th and 5. Maybe a little more than that. 4th and 6, we'll call it. And Durfee going to go for it. Maybe he'll take a shot at the end zone.
Come on, Somerset-Berkley fans. We got to get our defense going here. We need a big stop. Come on, cheerleaders, get us going.
4th and 6, 4th and 7 maybe. Vantage point stuff here. Big play for Durfee. Ditt rolls out. He's going to get rid of the ball. Going to the end zone, and there was definitely contact and interference there, but no call. One of the Hilltopper receivers basically got shoved to the side. You can't tell me that's not interference. An incomplete pass. Turns the ball over on downs. Should be looking at 1st and goal. So 1st and 10 for Somerset. They get the ball back on downs. Meehan not going far.
And Jake gets through for about 3. 2 or 3. 2nd and 7.
Meehan looked like he initially had a lane there, then the pile kind of just collapsed on him. So picked up 3. Brings up 2nd and 7. Timeout Somerset. Well, no one's moving off the field, and Somerset's wondering what's going on. Oh, they're charging with a timeout because their sideline is on the field. Too close. And that's what it appears because the coach has backed everyone up. Medeiros in motion, gets the ball, and is stuffed right at the line. Another good stop by Durfee. No gain there, brings up 3rd and 7.
3rd and 7.
And the clock continuing to roll on what's been a pretty quick 3rd quarter. 3:30 to play in the 3rd. Still no score from Somerset. Love the enthusiasm by the Durfee sideline. The players have been chanting and cheering the whole game. Flag, play is halted. That's going to be a false start on the offense. And that's going to back them up 5 yards. We'll replay the down. So what was 3rd and 7 will be 3rd and 12. And perhaps we'll see Meehan go to the air. Passes have been few and far between for both sides, but it seems like on some of these longer 3rd or 4th down conversions, that's when we've seen the most passing. Quick handoff to Medeiros, who was in motion, and he is going down in the backfield.
Hilltoppers make a big defensive play. Taking down Brandon Medeiros before he could get outside.
Medeiros slow to get up, and now the timeout. Looks like he's hurting. Gets up under his own power, but limping a bit. Somerset trainer heading out. Check on him. He's going to jog off the field. Might have rolled the ankle, because he went down pretty hard on that far sideline. So 4th down and now about 14 after the loss on 3rd down. And another timeout on the field.
Timeout.
Last time the Hilltoppers had Somerset pinned back deep, and they had to punt. Medeiros kicked it right about, it was about the same spot, although he's in the end zone. He was about at the 5. And he was able to get it on a roll on one bounce at the 45. It rolled to the 48. It was a heck of a punt. Going to be asking for the same thing right here. Oh, that's a darn good punt. Concepcion catches it, and it's tripped up. That's number 37 of the Blue Raiders, Andrew Romero. on the tackle. Concepcion grabbed about 5 yards after the catch. And Hilltoppers will start inside the 40-yard line. Or across the 40 at the 39. Hilltoppers with another big stop, and we have looks like Medeiros being helped off. He ended up going back to punt, and he's really hurting now that he kicked the ball. Probably shouldn't have gone out to kick it. Took one for the team there. He's gonna be down. He's definitely hurting. First and 10 for the Hilltoppers from the 39. Get it to Roque. Roque. Oh, he's taken down. Knee hit the ground at the line of scrimmage. Boy, that's a big stop for Sterling because it looked like Roque was going to be able to actually turn the corner that time. He had some room.
Loss of about 1.
Shaking it off a little bit. Kelly Mahoney, the Durfee trainer, escorting Roque off the field. Next man up for the Hilltoppers here on second down. Roque will sit this down out. Concepcion is in there. Roque has had the bulk of the rushing duties. I'd like to see Concepcion break a tackle and get through. He gets the ball, gonna cut in, tries to get by Meehan, tackled down by Meehan, tackled by Gagliardi, as well as Joseph Frank. Short gain on the play as Somerset's defense getting a little stingier. Third and 9 for the Hilltoppers at the 38-yard line. Oh, ball is loose. Ditt picks it up. Still on his feet, trying to get by his own teammates, and he's tackled backwards for a loss. I guess the Hilltoppers will take it. It's better than a turnover, but it was not pretty at all. And this is going to end the third quarter. 3 quarters in the books at Somerset, and we still have no score. Durfee going to be facing a 4th and 11 when we return to action after the quick timeout in between quarters. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Who would have ever thunk a scoreless game here at the start of the fourth quarter?
Berkeley's next game will be home, and it's against New Bedford Regional Vocational High School, and that is on this Friday, September 14th at 7 p.m.
Looking at the road ahead, the Hilltoppers. This is one of 3 consecutive road games for Durfee to start the season. Next week they'll be in Taunton to face the Tigers. Interestingly enough, a team that Durfee's actually had decent success against over the last few years since Taylor Brown took over as the head coach. Durfee's done fairly well against Taunton, including road games, not just at home. So Durfee heading to Taunton next week, and Somerset-Berkley will be here once again, another home game.
We got a great football game going here.
As they'll host Greater New Bedford Voc.
Who wants it more?
Diamond will be home again next week against West Bridgewater, and weather permitting, we will have that game. It'll be our first game back again. First game back at Diamond for home action. We did travel with the team. They came to Durfee for a couple games last year. We went to New Bedford Voc. They used the Bears field last year for a game while theirs was being worked on. That's a high snap. Got to get the kick off, and they do. That's a beautiful punt.
Good punt by the Hilltoppers.
I am so impressed right now. Jason Hall has been outstanding inside the 5-yard line again.
4-yard line. Great punt.
And that was a bad snap, too. He had to go back and get it, and he still sent the ball a long way. Well done, well done. Durfee turned the ball over once in the first 3 quarters. Somerset twice. Durfee's was a forced fumble, and Somerset's were both pickoffs by the Hilltoppers defense. Turnover would be sweet right now with how far back Somerset is in their own zone. 10:48 to play as Somerset goes on offense. They'll run it out. It's like a gain of 3, so we'll call it 2nd and 7.
Gain of about 2 for Mike Gagliardi. 2nd and 8.
Second and 7 for Somerset. Gagliardi had the last run. This time it's number 7 for Somerset tumbling down to the ground. That's Fernando Solozano Jr. His first carry of the game. And he's in there because Medeiros had left the game.
3rd and about 2.
I'm looking for him on the sidelines. I'm not seeing him on the sidelines, but I don't think he is in. I don't see him in the game right now. Yeah, he's not in. 3rd and 2 after a 5-run carry and cutting across for the first down.
And there's a first down by Fernando Solorzano.
It was Solorzano coming in off the bench, and with 2 good runs, they move the chains. And we got a Hilltopper who is hurting right now, down on the ground.
Injury timeout.
Number 59 for the Hilltoppers, that is Jordan Giottis. And he tried standing up on his own and just fell right back down. And he ripped the helmet off, obviously in some pain. You see Kelly Mahoney, Durfee's trainer, out on the field. Looks like it is the knee. And the way that Giottis went down, you can tell that something gave out there, so his team's going to help him up, get him to the sidelines. But Giottis, don't want to speculate, but knee injuries are never good, and the way he just went back down there, that may not be good for his season. We'll hope for the best for him. Giottis is a senior this year, so you'd hate to see an injury in night number 1 kill your season. But no walking on that leg right now for Giottis, so here's hoping that it's not as bad as it looks. So out of the injury timeout, Somerset was able to move the chains. Solorzano into the game for the injured Brandon Medeiros. And he was able to get the conversion on 3rd and 2. And Medeiros stretching it out on the sidelines here, trying to move around. So he may be back in shortly.
Ball's carried by number 7, Fernando Solorzano.
Solorzano, really, talk about next man up. He's getting the carries right now. He's a junior this year. with all these running plays for both sides. Makes for a fairly quick game. Every play, the clock is moving.
Gain of about 1, 2nd and 9.
So under 8.5 to play. We still do not have a score. There's a flag down on the other side of the field. Looked like there was a false start, which would have stopped play, but the fact that play continued makes me wonder if it's offsides on the defense, which would hurt the Hilltoppers. I didn't see any movement by the Durfee line. I did see movement by the Somerset line. But again, you know, with a false start, you stop play. When it's defensive, the play continues. So we'll await the call.
Penalties on the Raiders.
Oh, it's on the Blue Raiders. They back them up.
14.
No, and they call a false start. Okay. So 2nd and 14. Kind of interesting that play continued. Usually you whistle those dead. I did not hear any whistles. Rolling out to the far side, or to this near side here, Gagliardi cuts back, and he's going down at the 20. That was a really good run, though, making something out of what looked to be nothing. He looked like he was going to get stopped, and he got another 5 yards or so out of it. 9-yard carry, and it'll be 3rd and 5. So Gagliardi digs him out of the hole. Hilltoppers will be asked. The defense will be asked to make another tough stop here, 3rd and 5. And a stop on this side of the field would be big. They hand it off, and a first down for the Blue Raiders. Robideau, another running back that's newly into the game, and the Somerset-Berkley Raiders move the ball. And they move the chains. 7 minutes to play in the game. Robideau in motion, gets the handoff again, following Solozano, and he's out of play after about a 3-yard pickup, maybe 2.
A couple big defensive plays there for the Durfee Hilltoppers.
It's a 2-yard carry, so it'll be 2nd and 8. Again, you hear the Durfee, the Durfee bench making some noise. Good stop by the Hilltoppers defense to bring up 3rd down.
Gain of about 1 to Ethan Robideau. 3rd and 7.
Sneaked a yard out of that on the carry to make it 3rd and 7. Got to get to the 36-yard line, ball at the 29. And a timeout.
Timeout. Somerset-Berkley. 3rd and 7. Ball on their 29.
Somerset with 2 timeouts left, Durfee with 3.
Just to let you know, fans, the Luther Ave gate will be open after the game. The Luther Ave gate will be open after the game.
Somerset uses every second of their timeouts. Let me tell you, Hilltoppers once again been on the field, ready to go for about maybe 15 seconds or so, and Somerset not wasting any time that they're allotted. It's a big play right here. 3rd and 7. And this is one that could be, honestly, with the way the running game goes and how the clock moves, it could be a game-deciding down right here. And a whistle before the play. Timeout by Somerset.
Timeout. Somerset-Berkley.
And that was just in the nick of time. They got an unguarded guy down this way, and that's why Coach calling timeout. Oh, man, Alvin Ditt just noticed the receiver sneaking in. That was Robert Shaker. Looking to target him. No, they're going to Gagliardi as Meehan goes down hard. Gagliardi with the first down. Gagliardi open field. Down the field he goes. And he's going to score.
Touchdown, Somerset-Berkley.
Where are the flags for the Hilltoppers? I'll tell you. Got a player down. That's Ditt, the quarterback.
There is a flag on the play.
All kinds of chaos on that play. Horrible.
How do you miss that ball? How do you miss that clip?
Should be a personal foul and a flag. Ditt is down, and Somerset has the lead with 5:32 to play. Scoreboard has not changed, but the 6 points will stand, and Ditt in tremendous pain, the Durfee QB. And it looks like it's his knee, maybe his left.
On the Somerset-Berkley Raiders.
This one on here.
Somerset-Berkley on their 25.
So the touchdown does not stand. There was a hold, but the thing is, the hold doesn't really mean much. It's the personal foul they missed back here on the other side of the field. The good news for Durfee is that it keeps Somerset off the board, but hard to argue when your QB is down in pain after a 50-yard gain for Somerset. Unfortunately, too, you know, that's the danger of having guys play both sides of the ball, and particularly your quarterback. I mean, these things happen especially when you're playing defense. You have to be physical. And Ditt wasn't really set to begin with because after the double timeout from Coach Freitas, he snuck Shaker in as a receiver. And luckily for the Hilltoppers, even they were able to mix that up because they ended up covering him quickly. Ditt gonna try to get up. Very gingerly walking.
As both teams are playing as hard as they can tonight. So we have 1st and 10 at the Durfee Hilltop at 25.
So the hold,
5.5 minutes.
now that we're out of the injury timeout here, the hold negated the touchdown, which is good news for Durfee, but it puts Somerset at the 25, nearly 50 yards from where they were and where the actual penalty should have been called. Topper defense is going to be tested like they haven't been tested tonight. Still on his feet is Meehan. Mad dash down inside the 10 as the Blue Raiders enter the red zone for the first time in the game. It comes with 5:20. And a timeout.
Somerset-Berkley Raiders.
Another timeout. That should be the last one for Somerset.
Looks like we're 1st and goal from the 10.
Meehan.
Meehan again with the carry.
Didn't get too far. Had the collar grabbed almost. Saw the jersey getting tugged around.
Second and 8.
Second end goal from the 8-yard line. 1 yard gain on the carry by Meehan. Second and goal. Gagliardi has it and is going down shy of the 5.
Carry by Michael Gagliardi.
And it'll bring up 3rd and goal. Looking at from the 6-yard line. Actually, no, the 7. He got tackled almost immediately. So again, just 1 yard on the carry for Gagliardi. And it'll bring up 3rd and goal. Guess who just jogged in like nothing happened? Alvin Ditt back into the game. Ready to tackle someone. 3rd and goal. Meehan. Is he in? It looks like he is. It's very close.
Meehan with the carry. Looks like the Hilltop has stuffed him just short.
Goodness gracious. This is incredible. 4th and goal from the 1. And the way Meehan is running, and Meehan's big, I mean, you just got to break the plane. I would imagine a QB sneak would be in order here.
Come on, fans. This is it. Let's go.
3:05 to play in the game.
Come on, Raiders fans. Cheer on our team. Let them use our momentum. Louder. Louder.
Gonna punch it in, and there is the first score of the game, and it comes with 2:48 to play in regulation.
Meehan with the carry.
Meehan plugs it in from a yard out. 6-0 Somerset.
With 2.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, it's a tough one for the Hilltoppers to swallow. They felt they got robbed on a non-call back here at the Somerset 35, 30-yard line. Instead, it ended up being a mad dash for Gagliardi and a penalty down the other end of the field that still gave them 50 yards basically at the end of the run. And that's what set up this go-ahead touchdown after the game had been scoreless for almost the entire regulation period, almost all 4 quarters. And a flag. Looks like a false start here.
penalty on the 2-point conversion. Against the Raiders.
And I think they're going to kick a field goal now.
Looks like they're going to kick the extra point.
Yep, going for the extra point field goal to try to make it 7-0.
Brandon Medeiros doing the kicking. Robert Shaker, the holder.
Looks like Medeiros is going to kick. How about a block? Pick it up. It's a live ball. Dit.
Face mask! Will you wake up? Jesus Christ!
Now there's a flag. I think they heard our coaches up here pretty animated. A clear face mask as well. The good news for Durfee is it's 6-0 rather than 7 or 8. Flag was picked up. No call yet as to why it was thrown.
Hilltoppers are back to return. Brandon Medeiros kicking.
And kickoff from the 40, which is the usual spot. So apparently the flag is
Somerset-Berkley 6.
not going to count for anything. Coach Taylor Brown talking to the official on the far side of the field. Tell you, you're not going to cry over spilled milk. This has been a great football game, but our officials in the second half in particular have missed quite a few calls that would favor the road team. Let me be clear about that. Concepcion with it. Full steam ahead to the far side. Going to try to cut back in. That's a good run back for Concepcion. Going to hold the ball down at the 40-yard line. That's a great return for Eli Concepcion. And now the Somerset coaches barking on the other side of the field. They got nothing to complain about.
Come on, fans, we need you again.
Hilltoppers with 2:38 to work with. 1st and 10 from their own 41 after a great return from Concepcion. Roque is back in, cuts across, still on his feet, and he dives down at the 48-yard line. Be 3 yards shy of the first. That was a good dash for for Eric. Nope. Evans messing up big time here. Lucas Roque. Too many names. Lucas with a good carry. And it'll bring up 2nd and 3. Concepcion cuts back around, going end around. Another face mask and a flag on the backside here.
And number 32, Michael Gagliardi. Timeout, Hilltoppers. 1st down. We do have a penalty.
Called a face mask on Somerset, and the officials noticing it this time. personal foul will push Durfee up into Somerset territory. It's easy to get on the officials when, you know, we got such a good vantage point, but I mean, really, the calls have been very skewed in the second half in particular. Really no penalty. The face mask happened right about here. Where's the 15 yards?
And there's a flag on the play.
False start on the offense.
He got procedure. That's a 5-yard penalty. Back to 1st and 15 from the Raiders 45.
98 seconds to play. Hilltoppers in Somerset territory, but they take a step back after the false start. 1st and 15.
Come on, fans, let's go. A minute and a half. Come on, we need them. Now we got a timeout. Hilltoppers.
Durfee calling a timeout now after 8 seconds ticked away off the clock. So a minute 26.
I can't hear you. Come on, Raider fans. We got a minute and a half to go. Let's go.
First and 15. We'll end around going nowhere.
Play by number 44, Bryce Garrettson.
Bryce Garrettson with a huge play on what the Hilltoppers were trying to do, which was a reverse, and it does not pay off at all. Durfee back in their own territory, and they're going to be looking at 2nd and 21.
Loss of 10.
With a minute and 9 seconds to play. Another timeout.
Again, a quick reminder, the Luther Ave gate will be open after the game. The Luther Ave gate will be open after the game. Also, Somerset-Berkley's next home game will be next Friday night, September 14th at 7, as they take on New Bedford Regional Vocational High School. .1:15 on the clock. That's the official time. Thank you, Mr. Ashley.
And the Hilltoppers gain 6 seconds. Now we have 11 minutes 50. There we go. 1:15 on the clock. Durfee backed up all the way now to their 49-yard line. They were at the 40 of Somerset. They've lost 11 yards on one down, basically. 2nd and 21. Got to go to the air. There is time. Ditt down the field. Did he overshoot him? He did. He had room to. Looking for Javon Holly. And they had the game-tying touchdown right there. Ditt overthrew him by maybe a stride and a half. That was a great throw from Alvin Ditt.
3rd down.
You know, at this point, do or die. I'd call the same play again and give him a reprieve. What do you got to lose? 3rd and 21. You're not going to get that on one running play. The odds are against you.
Come on, Raider fans, I'll play his feet off of you. Let's go. You got 1 minute. Come on.
Stepping back to pass again. Ditt gonna run it. Throwing on the run. He's being held. It's picked off. There was pass interference on the back side of that play as well. And no call once again by the officials. At the minimum, should have been a hold. First pickoff of the night against the Hilltoppers, and it's going to end the game. Should be a penalty, and the Hilltoppers should have the ball at the red zone. Like to know what our men in pinstripe have been watching over the last 11 minutes. You have a player that's getting slowed up trying to receive the ball because he's being grabbed. That's interference and a hold. Instead, Somerset's going to walk away the heroes tonight with a late touchdown in the fourth quarter and a 6-0 score. 56 seconds to play. After the pick, highly doubt Durfee will see the ball again. Gagliardi with the handoff. Powers it up the middle for 6 yards. And we will have a timeout. The scoreboard had been keeping track of the timeouts, but right now Durfee listed as 0. And they've been listed as 0 timeouts for a while. So not quite sure how many the teams have left. It's a full team timeout. And once again, we see Somerset using every second of the timeout. Again, Durfee on the field well before the allotted time has expired, but Somerset uses every second of their timeouts, whether they call them or they reap the benefits of the opponent calling them. 49 seconds, 2nd and 5. And Gagliardi again, and he's got the first down.
Gain of about 8.
And that's going to do it. Clock stops at 39 seconds with another timeout. But Somerset with a fresh set of downs. Knee formation, victory formation. Clock is still not moving. Not sure why. Who's running the clock? Now it's moving. And that's game. Hilltoppers out of timeouts.
All right. Great game by both teams played tonight.
Somerset pouring the Gatorade on like they just won the Super Bowl. It's great to celebrate an opening night win, but certainly wasn't a blowout, that's for sure. This was a great game. 6-0 the score. Hilltoppers on the short end of the stick, and particularly with the officiating. Both teams played a great game, but there were some calls missed, more than a few, by the officials that you can say had an impact on the game. That's the bottom line. Yes, we say before the games that, calls are made in good faith by the officials, and you have to stand by what's called on the field. Certainly you do, and it's easy to criticize when you're up here on the press box with the best view in the house. But I'll tell you, there were plenty of calls that did not go Durfee's way or did not get called at all. And we see that sometimes, and sure, it's frustrating, but it's just the way it goes. Fact of the matter is, when it costs you a victory or a chance to, at the very least, tie up the ball game, it's a little more than frustrating when you're the player on the field or the coach on the field who's losing out on that call. Nonetheless, what did we learn from tonight? Number one, Somerset's offense is obviously not as potent as everyone was making them out to be. I think they definitely are missing guys like Chase Stafford and Freilich, their running back, who both graduated last year. What else did we learn? We learned that this Hilltopper team has a lot of grit and a lot of fight, and looked very similar to last year at Thanksgiving, despite what Coach said in the his opening soundbite that this is a different team. It certainly is. The fact that they competed tonight the way they did, though, against Somerset, guys getting injured, leaving the game at DIT, one of them, for example, he didn't look like he was coming back, and he did. This team outperformed, I think, many's expectations. No, they didn't score, but you held Somerset to just the 6 points, and you held them scoreless really for, say, 40 minutes of play out of the 44 that you play. Actually, it was a little more than that. So I have to tell you, I'm thoroughly impressed by the coaching and the preparation of the players for this opening night game. This was no blowout. This was no embarrassment. We've seen some opening night games that the Hilltoppers have played that weren't pretty. We'll leave it at that. Tonight's game was a really solid football game, and hats off to them because they really left it all out on the field. So next up for Durfee, they head out on the road to Taunton, then to Wellesley. Then they finally come home at the end of September. They will host Dartmouth. Always a tough game. That'll be the next time you see the Durfee Hilltoppers here on Fred TV. Next week, weather permitting, we will have football from Diamond Regional as West Bridgewater comes to Fall River to face off against the Bengals. Till then, Evan Massoud signing off from Somerset-Berkley. So long, till next time.